Gabrielle Aventuro here with Wow Action Services, and today we have the pleasure of interviewing Elana Pruitt.
Okay, great meeting you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely, we're honored. So I want to ask you, as far as this presentation is concerned, what do you hope that the audience gains from all this?
Well, I think it's important to inspire women to feel confident and to trust, their own, I guess you could say, style compass, and to find pieces confidently and to wear them confidently. So really the goal is for people to walk away feeling a little bit extra hope and next time they go shopping.
Great, okay, so with that being said, there's a million careers out there, and being an educated woman, what made you go with fashion as a career path?
I think it just came out naturally. I'm a creative person. I was a writer first, but I always loved using my imagination, playing with colors and prints, and I truly never really cared what people thought. So that kind of gave me the freedom to explore different areas, and I just sort of went with it and met different women that needed my help, and so I just went with it. It was my calling, I think.
Great, okay, so I'm assuming you have a couple favorite fashion designers?
Definitely. I'll be talking about Betsy Johnson. I'm a big fan of her. I've actually interviewed her before.
Wow.
Huge fan of Gwen Stefani and every product she's created, so especially Lamb. If my wardrobe could only consist of Betsy Johnson and Lamb, I'd be a happy girl.
Really?
But I also really like House of Harlow by Nicole Richie, so I really like the boho, hippie chic kind of style. So so those three women really inspire me.
And very funky as well.
Yes.
So now when I think of fashion, I think of luxury and glamour, but I know that's not all it is. So what's the biggest misconception that you get about fashion?
I think the biggest misconception is that there are rules in regards to how much you spend on an item, what looks perfect together. I think that a lot of people look at celebrities and they look in the media and they feel they have to follow certain trends or certain rules, and really there aren't any. It's all based on your personality and what you can piece together to be really the best to you.
Great, great. Okay, well, I really do thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Some time at the end with questions and or anything else. So this is my website address, goodgirlgoteshopping.com. So I will get started. I've always had, I think especially according to my parents, an imagination, and that goes from growing up with a short afro and putting on a skirt in my head just to feel like I had some long hair to I was a kid in the 80s, so I had fun with colors and prints and stripes, and I don't think I ever really cared what people thought until you get to your teenage years and you're made fun of, but that's another story. So I've always had an imagination and creativity about me, and I've always been a writer. So the way that I see fashion is from that point of view. And so throughout high school, from thrift store shopping to selling designer wear, I really started following in my sister's footsteps when it came to going to secondhand stores. It really was related to the alternative music I was in at the time, so I loved wearing worn-in clothes. I loved the fact that there was a story behind everything. And then throughout college, I went to Cal State Fullerton, majored in journalism, but I worked at Nordstrom. So I really went from being really rebellious, like I'm never going to spend more than $10 on a pair of jeans, to selling jeans that were $150. And so for me, there was a lot of adjustment that I had to make, but in the adjustment, I started to really learn about brands, learning about designers' points of view, talking to buyers, and I started to gain appreciation for the field. So as I'm in college, I'm writing, but I'm also selling fashion. While I was at Nordstrom, I lived at home, so I had all the money in the world to buy all the clothes. Once you move out on your own, you don't really have the $150 so much to buy jeans. And so I started to think of how and where can I go to still maintain my style, and how can I still develop my own personal style. So I started investing in Marshalls and Ross, Nordstrom Rack. I started to go there, and I started to give tips out. In the corporate field, there's a standard of how you dress, and I started to realize, okay, I can be a little conservative, but I would still throw accessories together. I would still do something to show my personality. And a lot of the girls around the office started asking me for help. Like, Elana, how would you even think to put leopard heels with that suit? Things like that. And so I started helping them on breaks. We'd go to Target. I'd help them on the weekend. And I started to think, wow, maybe there's other people out there that actually may find some value in what I have to say. And so I created a blog in 2007. And initially the name of the blog was called Diary of a World, and then doing this creative venture is not always easy to balance. So I decided to change the name to Good Girl Gone Shopping. I thought that's a great way for people to know that if they're going to my blog, my website, that I'm the good girl. I'm here to help them out. I'm here to be of resource. And so I started to provide tips, started interviewing designers, started doing giveaways, and I really wanted my blog to be a place where people can feel that they're getting value from. So Hollywood interviews. As throughout college, you know, I've always been involved in sort of the entertainment industry when it comes to going to movie screenings, different designers, and so that also really inspired me to stay within the fashion industry. So the next slide has to do with the concept of trusting your intuition with fashion. I'm sure there's many women that you put an outfit together and you look in the mirror and you love it, but the minute the fear strikes you, well, I don't know how other people are gonna read me. I don't know how that's gonna look. I mean, does that look stupid together? I don't know. And now, the way that I used fashion as a tool for me that day was when I knew that I would go to the screening, I knew I had to get her attention. I thought, I'm 20 years old, I'm doing this, how can I get her attention and make sure that she answers my question? And I remember I bought a yellow sweater at, I think it was New York and Company at the time, and I thought, that will maybe do it. And so I got my question in, and right when we were done, I asked her, hey, can I take a photo with you? Her rep initially said no. She was very nice and said, sure. And the reason I love this photo so much is because what she's saying to me is, I love your sweater. And it was like, I mean, there's no words. I was very proud of myself that I trusted my gut when it came to knowing fashion is a tool, and that tool I used to the best of my ability. So the reason I bring these two things up is because it's extremely important to trust your intuition when it comes to fashion. No matter your age, ethnicity, shape, it's very important because once you do, you have a sense of confidence. And that's really why I'm here, to help inspire you when you shop, when you look at your wardrobe, when you try things on. Okay, so these two terms, fashion versus style, I know that they're used interchangeably a lot, and so I'm curious to know, can anyone say like what they feel the difference is or how they're related? Is to create a look. So, you know, this presentation is how to uncover your personal style, and that means, you know, I'm really not here to say there's rules. I don't really believe in fashion rules, and because everyone has their own, you know, style compass of what works for them. So I just want to be clear that, again, as you watch fashion TV or, you know, anything you're listening to or reading about, when you hear these terms, kind of know the difference. Fashion is what can be bought. Style is what you do with the products. And then just a little bit of a background, you know, how things get to the store. Really, a lot of what we find in the store starts in the runway. And so I use Betsy Johnson, of course, as for this slide. And I think one of the, I guess, frustrations or confusion that some women get is when they look at a magazine, when they look at a mannequin in a store, when they look at the runway, the models are already dressed head to toe, they're already styled. And so it gives us this feeling of, you know, a certain energy. But from the runway, the people that show up to the shows are buyers, are editorial professionals. The buyers are the ones that see, you know, for instance, okay, that will definitely sell in Ross. That will sell at this store. So the buyers then invest in the fashion and take them to the stores. So to show models or mannequins already styled is really to give you that